Now, joining us for more on women and sports and shopping, all fun things, we're joined by Jack Plunkett. He's the CEO of market research firm Plunkett Research. Jack, thanks for joining us tonight. As we can see in the United States, women, glad to have you. We're seeing here in the United States that women are becoming bigger fans of team sports, and they want to show it in the clothes that they wear. Is this also a global trend? Do you see women around the world increasingly wanting to support their favorite team?
Certainly, women are getting more interested in sporting apparel of all types, and to some extent, team sports. So yes, I think as incomes increase in emerging nations and big, important team sports continue to spread, I think that could easily continue to be a trend.
And why is it that you think that women are now getting much more interested in team sports, or were they always interested in them, but now we're just seeing that there's actually some gear, clothing that is marketed to them, so it makes it more appealing for them?
I'm not sure that women's interest in team sports is increasing. I think it's always been reasonably strong. But there certainly is an impact by, in the United States, for instance, the very high percentage of women who are now in universities and therefore start getting interested in university sports. You know, there are more women in American universities today than there are men, and more women university graduates coming out of the schools every year in America than there are men. So they learn to like their teams while they're in school. They become pretty loyal alums. They transfer some of that, in the United States at least, to pro teams. So I think it kind of starts in college.
Okay, and we're also seeing that women are increasingly spending money on sporting goods. For example, U.S. sales of cross-country gear rose 8% in 2012-2013 among women. How do you explain this trend? Are we just becoming more healthy and therefore more interested in sporting goods as well?
Certainly people know they want to try to become healthier. The number of gym memberships in the United States, for instance, is about 50 million people. And gym memberships are growing pretty steadily around the world, particularly in emerging markets. So people join the gym, they want to buy the apparel for it. There's also a certain amount of desire to be more casual and sort of cool looking at the same time. So maybe you can be very comfortable and casual, but still wear a Nike swoosh logo as you do so. Or on the upper end, maybe you wear Lululemon clothing that's quite expensive, but still sporting goods apparel, and you have the kind of casual, cool look. And I see it more and more on women when they're shopping for things like groceries in supermarkets. I mean, it's definitely a fashion trend as well as an interest in sports and gym memberships.
Okay, and from a marketing standpoint, though, how should these brands target women and really create loyalty among them? I mean, they've obviously got to do more than shrink it and pink it, as the report indicated. So what is it that they need to do to make sure that women will come back to these brands and be loyal to them?
Well, I think there are two things that are really important. One is getting the endorsements of really big-name women athletic stars. So the Williams sisters in tennis, for instance, just a phenomenal global brand that really smart retailers and manufacturers can play to big advantage. But I also think there are things you can do on a local level that are less expensive if you're a smaller company. And I'm going to go back to Lululemon again, which is the massively, exceptionally profitable yoga and exercise apparel chain that started in Canada and is now all over the United States. I went by a Lululemon outlet this morning close to my house here in Houston, and they had perhaps 50 or 60 women in the store doing free yoga lessons about 6:30 this morning when I walked by walking the dog. So there are things you can do to actually build the brand and build the relationship at the store level.
So it seems to be really about building a community around the brand. I mean, particularly like you mentioned with Lululemon. But I want to talk also outside of sports apparel. We're seeing that women in general are flexing their purchasing power like never before. One study estimates that women will control 2/3 of the consumer wealth in the U.S. over the next decade. Now, earlier you mentioned that we're seeing that women are graduating in higher numbers from colleges than men. Do you think that that is the link, and that's why we're seeing this greater purchasing power among women? Is it about them getting better educated, getting better jobs?
Absolutely. Women's incomes are rising much faster than men's. There are more women graduating from the very high-paying types of degrees today. There are more female dentists being graduated today than male dentists. There are more female physicians being graduated out of medical schools. And female incomes are simply growing faster than men's.
So yeah, this is definitely time for the women. It's girl power time. Jack Plunkett, thank you so much for joining us. Jack Plunkett, the CEO of Plunkett Research.